Hi everyone, my name is Steffi. I live in Berlin, Germany, and today I'm going to show you my final project for the CS50 Introduction to Computer Science course from Harvard University. I chose the web track, and for the final project I made a web application that runs on a web server which I wrote in Python, or more precisely I used a Python framework called Flask. And I'm also using SQL to store user information in a database. And of course I had to write some code in HTML, CSS, and a bit of JavaScript and jQuery. My application is called Food Tinder. So as you might guess, the user gets suggestions, but not for potential dates, but for recipes, based on some diet or preferences that they indicated. I am using data from an API called Spoonacular that has a lot of recipes and very detailed information about these recipes. Here I am in the documentation, and I will mostly use the complex search in combination with a parameter called diet to get recipe suggestions for the user. And I'm also using this one, get recipe information, that gives me more detailed information about the recipe. So let's make this program work and have a look. I'm doing this in the CS50 IDE because unfortunately for the text editor terminal version my computer is too slow. Okay, I'm already in the right folder, and for this API I'm needing a API key. I'm pasting it in and we're ready to go. I'm writing Flask run to start the server. Okay, now I can open this up. And voila, this is my application. Okay, at first the user has to register or to log in if he already registered. But we are going to create a new user. Let's call her Emma, and I'll create a password and repeat it. Okay, and register. So now this information, the password and the username, they got stored in a database. Let's have a look. Okay, we have a table called users. And as you can see, there are already a couple of other users as well. And here we have Emma. The password is stored in a hashed version because that's more secure. Okay, for the rest we'll see a bit later. So, the first page that showed up was this. They're asking us for preferences or diet. This is like with the original Tinder, where the user indicates if they are interested in meeting men or women or both. Okay, let's say Emma is vegetarian. The user will only get asked this once when they register. If they log out and log in again, they won't be asked again. And our options, as you can see, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, ketogenic, or just nothing special. Okay, now get suggestions. Here we have our first suggestion. Okay, but let's have a look in our table again. Okay, now you can see vegetarian is stored here in preference. Great. Let's go back. Okay, as you can see, I made the design a lot like the original Tinder. And this first recipe is homemade garlic and basil French fries. Here we have a little arrow. I can click on that and there is more information, like the time that it takes to cook and a health score. The highest is 100. And here I have text about the recipe, how to prepare it, about the ingredients, and so on. If I click again, the description disappears. Okay, let's say Emma is not quite happy with the first dish and she doesn't like it. So she can choose dislike or like, and she will say dislike. And as you can see, like with the real Tinder, I made this little stamp that says nope. Okay, let's say this looks quite good. Berry banana breakfast smoothie. Emma likes this. Yeah, no, this doesn't look so good. Maybe this one. Yeah, okay, broccoli and chickpea rice salad. That sounds good. And hummus. That's always good. Okay, maybe you have noticed there is one more item in the menu bar that we haven't used. It's called My Favorites. This is where all the recipes that this user liked get stored, so they can go back and look at them again. Let's have a look what this is like. Okay, so all the recipes Emma liked, they can be found here in a slightly different design. The details are already shown. You don't have to click on them. It's a bit smaller because more items will be stored here. Okay, so this is it. Let's log out. And let's have a quick look at the database again, because there is another table called recipes, where all the recipes that were liked by users get stored. Let's see the structure. Yeah, this table uses a foreign key here that references users, the other table, to link those two tables together. Like this, the program can recall which user liked which recipe. And for now, we only have recipes for user with the ID 6, that is Emma. Let's also have a quick look at the code. So in my final project folder that I'm in, I have a static folder that contains the CSS file and the favicon, and a templates folder with all the HTML files, all the templates. Layout HTML is my basic file. Here I have, let's have a look, the head and the body and the script. And here you can see this is where the code of all the other templates gets plugged in. This is very practical because then I don't have to rewrite the code for the navbar, for the menu over and over again. Then in application.py, this is the most interesting part. I won't go too much into detail. On top is where I'm importing and configuring a lot of things like the SQL-like database here. And I also have two functions in here. It's only two, so I left them in this file. And they are basically for the GET requests to the API. So this first function, you can see the user gave their preferences or diet. If they indicated null, which means that they basically eat everything, I'm using this link for the complex search that I showed you before. If they indicated a diet, I'm plugging it in here as search parameter, diet equals preference. Okay, and the next function is used to get information about the recipes, and I'm plugging in the ID of those recipes to get more information. And down here, all the rest are the routes that render the different templates that I just showed you. Okay, let's go back to the layout file and check out the script, the JavaScript that I wrote, or more precisely jQuery. Okay, this here is what makes the little arrow work that showed or hid the details about the recipes. Then this made the like and dislike button work like a submit form. When they are clicked, they send a post request. And I used the set timeout function so that this logic doesn't happen for 300 milliseconds, because otherwise I would click on the like or dislike button and the fancy stamps that we saw that said nope or like wouldn't even be visible, because the next recipe would show up immediately. Okay, and the rest here, the rest of the logic makes the like or nope stamp appear after the like or dislike button was clicked. And this part here, that was probably the trickiest part of the whole program, because I needed a click event on the like button to fire a specific function in Python, the function that stored the data about a liked recipe in the database. So to do this, I made an AJAX request to this like route. I found this solution on Stack Overflow and it worked very well for my problem here. Okay, so this is my project. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed the CS50 class.